that we could tackle, and to gather people together, follow a vision, produce results. And you're going to hear about the results in the presentations that they have prepared. Today is a presentation, conversation, and inspiration. So with great pleasure, I will now introduce you to Swati Subbo, who is our great organizer, co-founder and trustee for 1 Million for a Billion. She has planned a great agenda for us today.
Good afternoon and namaste. Can I hear a namaste from?
Namaste.
Namaste. So wonderful to have all of you here, and especially our special guest today afternoon, Ambassador Madam Ruchira Kamboj, Mr. Mahir Nasir, Mr. Buk Jing Shang. Welcome, and we are really delighted to have you at our summit. 1 million for 1 billion, or 1M1B, originated as an idea harboring an ambitious vision to empower 1 million change makers to create a positive change in 1 billion lives. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. A popular quote by the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, became our guiding vision as we started our journey on 2nd October 2014. We at 1M1B have evolved with experience, having learned from our successes, but also from our failures. And it is through this process of iteration that we have been able to fine-tune our approach that has led to the running of impactful, youth-led, community-centric projects. The annual 1M1B Activate Impact Summit is a celebration of youth-led social change in the communities. At the 7th 1M1B Activate Impact Summit, our annual summit this year, supported by the Department of Global Communications at the United Nations, we are bigger and we are better. With nearly 50 youth change makers joining us from 5 different Indian cities, Bangalore, New Delhi, Hyderabad, Chennai, and Ahmedabad, and from 3 countries, the largest contingent being from India, but we also have representation from Singapore and the United States of America. In the coming years, we hope to expand this footprint and mobilize more youth change makers from different Indian states and from different countries, especially from the emerging economies. As my colleague here just mentioned, that 1M1B has a consultative status with the UN Economic and Social Council and is accredited by the UN Department of Global Communication. In this capacity, 1M1B is well poised to bring its expertise and know-how from the ground to the global platform. This ground-up experience brings an authentic perspective to the global stage, one that can be of immense value in shaping dialogues, defining recommendations, influencing policies, and building strategies. India's G20 presidency theme, One Earth and One Family, One Future, aptly summarizes our intent. Today, we are delighted to have our special guest, and we're looking forward for you to see our change makers in action as they discuss their social impact projects. To give the opening remarks, I would request Mr. Manav Subodh, co-founder and trustee 1M1B, for his remarks, please.
Thank you, Swati, and thank you, Jonathan. Yes, good. And I feel like we have a lot of young energy in this room. So, okay, young boys and girls, make sure you're participating. Welcome, everyone. Madam Ruchira Kamboj, Mr. Mahir Nasir, Mr. Buk Jing Chang, delegates, dignitaries, teachers, educators, people who are watching this on UN Web TV, and all friends. They say dreams don't happen with your eyes closed. They happen with your eyes open. This is a dream. This really is a dream. To speak here at the ECOSOC chamber at the United Nations in front of all of you is a dream with my eyes open. And I'm so honored and humbled to represent the young change makers and the young energy of India here at the United Nations. It's a dream to have education as an equalizer. It's a dream to get skilling programs, not just to the top schools and the universities of India, but also to the tribal schools and the villages of India, the same education. It's a dream to democratize artificial intelligence and make sure it benefits humanity. It is available for everybody. It's a dream to have green skills and young people participate in the green revolution so that we can take collective climate action to have a safe and a peaceful earth for all of us. This picture is a dream. And dreams with our eyes open. And that's my colleague Abhiram about to start an artificial intelligence orientation program in one of the villages in the East Godavari region of Andhra Pradesh, India. That's the dream all of us represent. To take change making, to take problem solving, to take technology skills, digital skills, not just to the top students, but also to the grassroots of India, so that we can have participation from everybody. 1M1B is a bold dream as well. It's a dream to activate 1 million young people who will activate 1 billion people and create a world with balanced prosperity. At 1M1B, we offer a number of programs to achieve this dream. And the slide, if you can see, the next one, please. The next one. These are the programs that we offer to students right from the international school to the best universities, to the tribal schools, to the villages of India. And we do this in partnership with the governments to achieve the government's agenda for economic development, environmental impact. We have various programs on sustainability mindset, the foundation that you see in all the programs that we do. And we are present in about 500 schools of India today, about 100 universities, offering sustainability mindset as a foundational skill. And on top of it, we have other skills like AR, VR, artificial intelligence, future leaders, the Purpose Academy, and the green skills that are being offered for the creative economy. So with this, just want to give a quick orientation of what 1M1B is. It's 1 million young people who will impact 1 billion people. With that, I'm so honored to welcome you, all of you again. I hope you have a great session today, hearing the young energies and the vision that they have for our future. Thank you so much.
Next, before we invite our distinguished guests on to the podium, a short line of introduction about them. Ambassador Madam Ruchira Kamboj works as a counselor at India's permanent mission to the United Nations in New York. I'm sorry about that. She handled political issues such as UN peacekeeping, UN Security Council reforms, and Middle East crisis, and was part of the G4 team that worked on the reforms and expansion of the United Nations Security Council. Ambassador Kamboj formally assumed the position of Permanent Ambassador of India to Permanent Ambassador to the United Nations as India's representative upon presentation of her credentials to the Secretary General Antonio Guterres in August 2022. the first lady diplomat from India to assume this position. Welcome, Madam Kamur.
Well, first of all, good afternoon, everybody. It is so wonderful to see all of you here, and first and foremost to all the youth from India. Good to see you here. I would say that it is indeed wonderful for me to address all of you at this 7th edition of the 1 Million, 1 Billion Activate Impact Summit. I hope I got that right. Now, this is indeed, we are all celebrating a very remarkable cohort of young Indian visionaries, which is all of you. All of you are not just representatives of India. You are ambassadors of a future where youth leadership and technological innovation are at the forefront of global development. Now, I'll make 2 quick points here. First and foremost, as all of you know, India is home to the world's largest youth population, which is very unique. So we are not just observing the future unfolding, we're actually actively shaping it. Our young minds are leveraging technology as a powerful tool to accelerate progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals. Their projects, ranging from sustainable agriculture to healthcare innovation, are shining examples of how technology can be a force for good, transforming challenges into opportunities. And as we will listen to your presentations today, we see more than just ideas. We witness the emergence of a new paradigm of leadership. These young leaders embody the spirit of entrepreneurship and a deep commitment to social change. Their initiatives, I would say, are not just isolated endeavors, they are part of India's broader vision of contributing to a sustainable and equitable world. My second point, this summit is not just a platform for these young leaders to showcase their projects, it is also a testament to the power of collaboration. The partnership between 1 million, 1 billion, and various global entities exemplifies how collective efforts can amplify the impact of individual initiatives. It is heartening to see the United Nations, along with corporates, academia, and civil society, come together to nurture and support these young minds. And in India, I will say that we truly believe in the transformative power of youth. We recognize that the path to achieving the SDGs by 2030 is through harnessing the energy, the creativity, and the innovation of our young population. And as these students demonstrate their projects, they also present a blueprint for how youth-led initiatives can be scaled and replicated across the globe. As India's representative to the United Nations, I am immensely proud of what these young leaders have accomplished. Their work, I would say, goes beyond national boundaries. It contributes to a global narrative of hope, resilience, and innovation. They are not just the leaders of tomorrow, they are the change makers of today. And let me also here commend the efforts of the 1 Million, 1 Billion Foundation for creating this platform and for their unwavering commitment to empowering youth. To our young leaders, I will say, your journey has just begun. Continue to inspire, innovate, and lead. The future is not only in your hands, you are the future. Now, before I end, I did want to say that these young leaders have worked across the breadth of the SDGs, spanning SDGs 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, and 13. And since it is their day, I want to conclude by personally congratulating all the future leaders at the summit today. So congratulations to Rishabh, Siddharth, Diva, Abhinav, Anurag and Shikhar, Manyata, Ananya, Rushil, Roshni, Akash, Navya, Ashmita, Aditya, Zeus, Rohan, Jishnu, Sonal, Advika, Saina, Ohana and Krish, Rihanna, Sanskriti, Chaya and Jia, Shloka, Niharika, Rachit, Shivank, Isha, Isabel, Deepti, Ayura, Nishitasha and Avni, Renee, Shriya, Samudrika, Riya and Mahima. My warmest congratulations to each and every one of you. Thank you.
I now request our second guest to join us on the podium, Mr. Mahir Nasir. Mr. Mahir Nasir has over 35 years of work experience in the United Nations system, during which he has worked in Gaza, Jerusalem, Amman, Vienna, Cairo, and New York. He is currently the Director of Outreach in the United Nations Department of Global Communications. In his current position, he leads the department's engagement with civil society, academia, sports, and the creative community, including the advertising industry. Welcome, Mr. Nasir.
Thank you. Good afternoon and namaste. Your Excellency, Ambassador Kambuj, colleagues, friends, and most important, of course, young people in the room. When I was your age, I was attending a school for Palestine refugees in the West Bank. I never thought that I would be at the United Nations. You are here sitting in the Economic and Social Chamber, one of the key three chambers of the organization. I invite you to look at the ceiling. You will see that it looks half completed. This part, with lights and ceiling, and there you look at tubes and pipes, and it looks incomplete. That was by design. It was designed because as the UN organization was created in 1945, the work that governments, all parts of society, have to do to improve the economic and social conditions is never ending, because we can never stop improving on the social economic conditions of humanity. And that's why this chamber has an incomplete ceiling, because it implies that we have to keep working to improve on the social economic reality of people around the world. And that's where the SDGs came from. The Sustainable Development Goals adopted in the United Nations here in another chamber, the General Assembly Hall, in 2015, 1 year after M1B was created, was creating a roadmap for achieving just that. Overcoming differences, overcoming challenges, world leaders came together to tell us how we can reach 2030. An agenda that will create a world in which there is no poverty, or at least no extreme poverty, nobody goes hungry, education is available for everybody around the world, gender equality, we have less inequality, we are dealing and tackling all of the other issues and challenges that we're facing. And much has been done, but we are not on track. And I think this is why it's important when generation like yours, innovators, young people in India, but also elsewhere in the world, come together to address those challenges and see how technology can actually help us meet those challenges. According to the Secretary General's report from July of this year, we are only 15% of where we need to be in achieving the SDGs by 2030. That looks like a mighty challenge. We can either feel pessimistic and saying we're never going to achieve the SDGs, or we can borrow from a sport and football analogy. No game in sport is ever lost in the first half. You could be down 5 goals, 10 goals in the first half, but in the halftime, the players meet with the coach, and the coach gives them encouraging remarks. And this is what happened this year in the SDG Summit in September. World leaders were reminded of the promises they made in 2015 and of the fact that we have 7 years left to achieve the SDGs. And we have to double the effort, we have to double the energy to actually get us to where we need to be. Now, we know that the world was impacted by COVID, by the pandemic. That has set us back. It has also been impacted by conflicts, ongoing conflict in many parts of the world, new conflicts that we have seen erupt in the last few weeks, months, and the other conflict 2 years ago when Russia invaded Ukraine has also had major impact on the price of food, price of energy that have set things back. We are looking at numbers where we have the largest number of displaced people in history. We have more people going into poverty than any time before. Systematically, from 1990 until now, the number of people living in extreme poverty has dropped, but last year it actually increased. And that's the compound impact of rising conflict and the pandemic, plus also the climate crisis. And I think the climate crisis is essential. I spoke in this chamber a few years ago on the 2nd of October, which was, of course, Mahatma Gandhi's birth date, which is the International Day of Nonviolence. And that is a reminder of another legacy that comes to the world from India, that we need to settle our differences and conflicts with nonviolence. And that's what the UN was created, to bring all member states, all parts of society together to see how we can actually deal with the challenges that we are facing with our differences in a non-violent way. And that's what the UN was created. It has so far enabled us to avoid a third world war, which could really devastate humanity as a whole, because now we have more devastating weapons. But it continues to offer the hope for us to work together to try to settle conflicts in a peaceful way, which is work that we will do and we continue to do. But more importantly, how do we engage young people to achieve a world in which everyone thrives in peace, dignity, and security on a sustainable planet? And that's what you have been working on. And I think this is the challenge of us working with you, looking to the future. Her Excellency mentioned that India is a very young country. You are. The median age in India is 28 years old, 28. In 1998, 25 years ago, the median age in India was 21. So you're catching up. And that happens when societies develop economically and socially. The median age in Japan is 48. The median age in Europe is 44. The median age in America is 38. Actually, it went up to 39 last year. The median age in Africa today is 19. So that's the youngest continent today. And for that reason, we are trying and planning to have a summit, a conference for civil society organizations ahead of the Summit of the Future that will look at how civil society can contribute to the Summit of the Future, reflect on the proposed Pact for the Future, and we are having that conference in Nairobi in May, because that is this continent where we see the future, because that's the youngest continent, but also we want to make sure that all continents contribute, and how can that opportunity through the work of civil society can actually reflect on the next pact for the future that will look beyond the SDGs, but also on other key challenges we're facing, including science, technology, innovation, youth. and future generations, peace and security, global governance, financing for development. These are the issues on the Summit of the Futures agenda. And we look forward to working with you and with 1M, 1MB, and others in India to ensure that actually we bring your voices to that conference. We have some challenges yet to go, but we are going to overcome them. But thank you again for coming to the UN, because the UN is your organization. The charter starts with the words, we the peoples, not we the governments. So this is your organizations. The SDGs are your SDGs, not ours. And let's work together to achieve them, but also let's look together to how do we jot and build a better future for all. Thank you.
And I now call upon Mr. Buk Jing Shang. Mr. Shang is the chief of the NGO branch in the Department of Economics and Social Affairs, DESA, of the UN since March 2022. Before joining DESA, Mr. Shang served as a career diplomat at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of South Korea for 26 years. He has worked both inside and outside the UN and experienced both multilateral and bilateral diplomacy. Welcome, Mr. Shang.
Korean guy, yeah.
Good afternoon. Namaste. Yesterday afternoon, I had an honor and privilege to meet Dr. Swati and some of the students, as well as of the teachers who came all the way from India. Welcome to the United Nations. It has been a long journey for you to come here, and it must be really tiring because it's past the midnight in India time. But I can see the fresh eyes of and I was really surprised yesterday and impressed by the presentation by the two students, which gave me in a shock mode, because I have the son and daughter, but I didn't think I don't think my kids have any thought about SDGs or any that kind of innovative ideas. Even if they have those new ideas and of the great initiatives, I don't think they could have that kind of the education led by the Indian educators, as well as the cooperation with the 1M, 1B founding of the NGOs. So I think it is a big teamwork that made it possible to have this kind of the good initiatives. And I'm looking forward to see more great ideas this afternoon. And I don't want to waste my time speaking here, but please remember that your generation is the only the last generation that can end the poverty, and the first generation that first and only generation that can end the climate change, as the former Secretary General said. Thank you very much for coming, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from you.
Also calling upon our next guest, Mr. Amit Nagdesia. He's a Cannes award-winning filmmaker and World Press photo-winning photographer. He's a member of the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Sciences. Before we proceed to hear the social change makers, the young social change makers, may I request Manav to give a brief context of the journey that these social innovators, social change makers have gone through to come to this stage.
Thank you, Swati. So something that I'm really proud of is talking about the journey the 50 plus youth change makers here have undergone before they will be making their presentations today. A lot of them have done 3 years worth of work during the pandemic when things were shut down. They have gone beyond themselves. They have taken actions for their community and they have created real impact. At the same time, undergoing about 60 hours of curriculum and work at the grassroots. While doing this work, they've got present to who they are. They've got present to what their purpose is. They've got present to what their career goals look like, with humanity at the center of it. They are human-centric leaders that I'm so proud of. And I'm so proud that 1M1B could make a small contribution in their journey and get them here at the United Nations to present some of their work. And as my colleague Jonathan says, the work that these people are doing, some people and many people don't do in their lifetime. So it's with great honor that I would like to present the 1M1B youth change makers and impactors who would be in the next few panels presenting to you the work that they have been doing. And they have been given only a minute, maybe a little more, but they have spent hours and hours of work at the grassroots to make change happen. And these are real change. These are real change, real people, and real impact. Thank you, Swati.
Thank you, Manav. May I now request Her Excellency Madam Ruchira Kamboj to declare the summit open so that we can start the presentation. Thank you. Handing over to my colleague Irene Mannings, who's the curriculum head at 1M1B Foundation, to take us to the next round of the change makers making the presentation. And may I request the distinguished guests to kindly join us.
This guy. Picture. Picture guy. Korean guy. You know. Our organization.
Oh, sure.
Okay. It's Chinese.
Chinese.
Thank you very much, Swati, and welcome everyone.
We made you before, right?
We are going to be discussing our youth changemakers impact in 3 panels this afternoon. And I have the privilege of leading this panel, which is all about community and inclusivity. Each of the change makers that are about to present to you have done projects along the lines of community and inclusivity. And I hope that you're impressed with the work that these young leaders have done in furthering the cause of the SDGs. I'm going to ask each of them in turn to introduce themselves and their work. And we'll just go straight down the line. Go ahead.
I was 15 when I had my first encounter with street harassment, getting catcalled on the subway. And since that young age, the experience has continued to grow. Whether it be getting followed home from the grocery store, stalked at the airport, or groped at a concert. These experiences are not unique. Every woman has a story, and we aim to prevent that. Project Pink focuses on the people around the incident to help derail it. Bystander intervention is a proven methodology, but the idea is that helping a person in trouble makes the situation better for them. The 5 Ds of bystander intervention are distract, delegate, document, direct, and delay. We use these 5 Ds to train high school and college students. We've trained over 300 students, and with the help of these 5 Ds, they've prevented countless incidents of harassment. We've also held 2 awareness programs to explain the idea of how easy it is to improve the life of another simply by being a bystander. Project Pink is a fight to help the world make streets safer for women. So let's join hands and turn the world pink.
Did you know 1 in 2 people who need insulin cannot access it? Isn't this atrocious? After witnessing the life-threatening challenges my younger brother faced after his type 1 diabetes diagnosis, I was inspired to help the underprivileged T1D kids who lacked access to life-saving insulin, knowledge, and support. Hence, Project Surya was launched to ensure that good health and well-being is made accessible to the 422 million diabetics across the globe. Greetings, I'm Diva Utkarsha and the founder of Project Surya. We are a youth-led nonprofit supporting the underprivileged type 1 diabetes children through awareness, advocacy, and funding. We have educated 400 rural type 1 diabetic families and 14,000 individuals through our awareness sessions and have raised $8,000 to sponsor 4,000 vials of life-saving insulin. We've launched campaigns to demand tax-free insulin in India. With your support, these children will get a second life, one that they deserve. Because today, the power rests with us. The power to change lives, the power to save lives, and the power to sweeten lives. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shloka Chandran, a 1M1B future leader and the founder of Project Transform. Growing up, I did not have any exposure to the word discrimination. Until at 14, I saw a transgender woman being physically abused. She is one among the 90% of the transgender community that faces social rejection. I started Project Transform to transform the lives of the transgender community living in Bangalore, India. When interacting with members of the community, I realized awareness about them and their health were 2 basic needs but lacked a lot of attention. I started conducting health camps to help them with their physical and mental health, conducting awareness session series called Transparent Talk Series, awareness about the community, and working on getting public transgender washrooms. Health insurance is the need of the hour and my current focus. I'm raising money to provide health insurance premium for the trans community, and each person who donates to this cause is helping 1 more